Okay. This is going to be just a check-in. There's a strand of hair in my face. I know it's been a while. Like, just back-to-back nonsense happening recently. I mean, it's coming up with the holidays. We just had Thanksgiving. And my phone was already cracked and then dropped it again out of my pocket and then smashed. So that was a setback. And one of my cats, just before Thanksgiving, looks like she got attacked, and she likely got attacked and eaten by some coyotes out back behind the barn. She normally wouldn't have been back there that time of night, except when the horses was sick, and I had to be out there helping take care of the horses, and the cats follow me around the island, and they hear me back there, so they were definitely back there. While he was, I saw him, I didn't see her. Kind of assumed she was back there. So when I was done, I told him, like, get on over home. She's just a few yards away. And he listened, and she didn't. She was probably chasing something, and then something started chasing her. So I found some. I've been out, back and forth out in the dunes. I was out back and forth in the dunes for a while, tracking and trying to find her, make sure she wasn't just like injured and hunkered down somewhere. Because I didn't find, I found some patches of fur and a smidge of blood in a spot where one of my coworkers said he heard that night. He stayed a little bit longer than I did. So he heard, sounded like, just before he turned off the lights, sounded like something got caught, probably by coyotes out back behind the barn. So I looked around back there. I found a couple of patches, a few patches of, looks like her fur. And did some more, did some tracking and tried to see if I could find any more. So it looked like maybe they got a little piece of her there in that spot, like got some hair off her, but she still, from tracks, it looked like she still managed to get farther off, and I traced them as far as I could. I think they probably got her though. She's been several days, so that's been rough. My boy cat Perseus has been upset. So I just went and looked at some kittens today down the road, and to claim them. A couple. Actually, I'm going to get a couple new calicos. He's going to have 2 little sisters. But they're not ready to leave their mom yet. They still have a few more weeks. They should be with her, so I'll probably be back and forth visiting with them a little bit once in a while. Anyway, I'm going to do a really quick one. There's one I've been baking in my head, right? Like working on in my head. A bit that I'm planning on coming out with soon. It's going to be addressing the story of Hiram Biff for the Freemasons. We know how much you love that story. Get ready. You're not going to like what I have to say about it. Anyway, but there's another issue. I hear floating around a lot. More and more recently. It's scary how the newer generations seem to be adopting it more and more, this idea. And I realize, maybe I'm perpetuating it a bit, because I did put it to you guys in this one video for the Western cult, about how light works, that it does seem as if our bodies are like meat suits, very complex, organic, virtual reality suits that make it so that we can't perceive that. Sorry, this thing can get not itchy. I like it. I forgot I had it, and I've been breaking out winter stuff around here. This weather around here is kind of cray-cray. You never know one day or the next if it's going to be kind of chilly, windy, or really nice spring, almost summer day. So, Now I lost where I was going. Oh, so I was talking about how your body is almost like a very complex virtual reality suit that makes it so you can't perceive that you are living in a sea of light, seems like. And I wanted to clarify some things because I'm worried that the newer generation, or even some people of the older generation with no sense, might take that a bit too seriously. And I was reminded of this, I make note of it once in a while when I hear it pop up, like, people suggesting that this place is a big game. I even recently read case study about, this worrisome group that we know is out there somewhere, a cult group. They might be connected to the one I've been talking about. I don't know. But I know that at some point, I think within the last 20 years or so, I have to double check the information. Basically, a van full of dirty, disheveled little kids was pulled over, being driven by two men. And of course, cops and authorities, rightly so, suspected some things. And when the kids were taken in by authorities and questioned, how are you doing? Why you look so dirty? Where's your mommy and daddy? Stuff like that. It appeared, after a lot of questioning from professionals used to working with kids in these situations, I think I would hope they had them talking to professionals. But from what I read, it appeared that the kids had been being carted around, likely to different inappropriate parties and such, if you get my meaning, and that these kids were being brainwashed, trained into looking at life like it's a big game, which can make it maybe a lot easier to take advantage of them. The reason why it's not smart to be looking at life like it's a big game, one of the reasons, a teenager, again, the same teenager mentioned in another video about chromosomes and Adam and Eve, recently said, he basically thinks his life's just a big game. And it's like, well, that's scary that you think that. What I wanted to say to him, and I didn't get into it, was, why don't you go ask some of the victims of Marc Dutroux that, go tell them, ask them, do they think life's a big game? I said, how about his two youngest victims? That's what I would have said. I think I dedicate part of my online blog connected to these videos, about all these topics. One chapter in is dedicated to those two girls specifically. I don't off the top of my head remember their names. And I wrote them down, I typed them down already, everything. I do remember they were roughly maybe between the ages of 6 and 8, closer to 8. And I remember that Marc Dutroux is known as he's the monster of Belgium. He kidnapped 6 different girls that we know of and raped them. And 2 of them got away, and that's how he got caught. The 2 youngest, 2 of them were buried alive in his garden, one of his properties. And the 2 youngest were found. They'd starved to death in a hole in the ground in his basement. Because he'd gotten caught doing something else, trying to steal a car or something, and sent to prison while they were being kept down there. Cops didn't find them. So they starved to death down there. So anyway, I was thinking to myself, you should go ask some of the victims of Marc Dutroux if they think this life's a game. Or better yet, because, those victims, a lot of those victims are dead. Why don't you go ask their moms? Because their moms are still alive. And I'll bet you that for at least 5 seconds every day, their mothers, in their minds, are down there in the dark with them, living that with them. You know, the girls aren't suffering anymore, they're dead, but their mothers are suffering it every day for at least a few seconds, probably, very likely. Very frequent, like, you know, for the rest of their lives, it's going to pop in there. Thinking about how their daughters died, their last hours, obsessing over what could I have done differently so she didn't die like that. Not only did she die, but she essentially tormented, of course, sexually abused, and then starved to death in the dark alone. I think that they were down there together. I remember reading they were found clinging to one another. This is not a game. It's not a game in that way. If it is, it's a very high stakes, torturous, tormenting game. You know, Monopoly is a game. There's no real risk. Video games are games. There's no real risk there, okay? I can understand, and that's the thing, I can understand that why so many people are inclined, they want to think that, and it comes from cowardice and laziness. A lot of it is, if it's just a game, then you're not really risking anything, and it doesn't really matter if you fail, and it doesn't really matter if you try. So, but it also means you're totally inconsequential. And then we wonder why people walk around popping Xanax and feeling like there's something wrong with themselves. Like, it's perhaps good self-esteem starts with taking yourself and your life a bit more seriously. It's not a game. This is not a game. You might be able to, in some abstract way, conceptualize the fabric workings of existence and life as if it's sort of a game. But in many ways, it's very much not a game. Not at all. There's real suffering going on down here. It's real torment of innocent babies, toddlers, children, little girls. Like, I've yet to meet a little girl. I met some pretty sassy ones too, pretty snotty ones, but I've yet to meet one that deserved to starve to death in a hole in the ground in the dark. That's not a game. Stop looking at it that way. It makes you weak. It makes you coward. And you start taking things a little bit more seriously. Taking yourself a bit more seriously. There are serious consequences to your actions. This is not a game. It's dangerous for you to look at it that way, because then you don't see how dangerous you can be. Nothing, your avatar in a game is not dangerous. It's not really. That's why, like you're running people over in Grand Theft Auto. It's not real. It's a game. And then we got people doing that here, like just running people over on the side of the street. Like, guys, this is not a game. Stop the nonsense. Cut the shit. How about, can we do this thing, because we haven't tried this yet, as far as I can tell, for at least the last several thousands of years. Can we play the game? Can we change the game over to, instead of, hierarchy, pyramid of torment, can we turn it into, hey, let's everybody chill the fuck out and cut the shit. Stop being a greedy prick. Stop tricking people into hurting themselves and hurting each other. Stop being selfish. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If your intentions are shitty and selfish, I don't know, get off the planet. This is Mother Earth. This is not really supposed to be the place for selfish, shitty people. Good mothers understand, again, they're on the sidelines for the most part. Pay attention. They're playing support. They're cheerleaders now. They're just cheerleaders for the children. Can we act like we're on Mother Earth instead of little baby boy Earth? baby boy throwing a temper tantrum. And lives in some kind of, he's so divorced from reality because he's so weak and pathetic and so cowardly that he starts like looking at it. It's a big game. No, it's not. Grow up. So yeah, I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. Just my poor buddy. He's been really extra, like, needy of attention and sad looking around. So he's napping now. Thinking from now on, straight up, nighttime comes, they gotta be in. And, like, usually, that is how it is, but I think I'm be more strict about it. It was a nice night that night. I figured, like, they were fine, chilling out for, I figured it wouldn't be more than an hour around the RV. I figured they'd just chill out around the RV, outside. They could have stayed in. The door was open. I left the door open for them. Because I was going a few yards away and expected to only be over there about maybe an hour at most. And that was the case. They just followed me over, hung out. One of them stayed a bit longer and got hurt. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to check in. And I wanted to just give you that little earful. Like, come on, dudes. Even if it is a big game, why would you think that you should be coming down to this game and indulging yourself in the worst person you can be? Like, don't you think that feeding the monsters is going to make it stronger? This isn't Westworld, you dumb fucks. Okay? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What did the little flesh robot torture bots that were down in Westworld to, basically be tortured repeatedly? What did they end up doing? I didn't see there's like a second season, but I saw like how the first thing ended. Didn't they start rebelling? Were they like, you know what? They started remembering some of it. You'll watch Westworld. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, like, cut the shit. Cut the nonsense. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. Anyway. Oh, and, no, I'll make it. It's going to be its own video. All right, goodbye. Good night. I'll try to make more and more often. It's just really been a lot. It seems like I get one problem solved and another one to come up. And then another one. And then, like, bike get fixed and then phone smashes. Get new phone. And cat gets killed. And so I'm hoping it's just going to settle down a lot now so that I can just, I don't know, fucking recover long enough have a long enough time to just fucking recover so I can then afterwards be productive. Like, I'm just tired. All right. I'm going to make more. I have to make more. I have to. Doesn't matter time. I have to, because you dudes are just so fucking disgusting. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get into like some of the sick psychology behind all this. We're gonna pick apart Hiram Biff. We're gonna compare it to stories like Lolita and things like Dr. Freeze from Batman and stuff like that. In case you're not catching the trend, it's capturing women and or forces of nature, Mother Nature, basically life in a crystallized form, because they want ultimate control over life itself and all things, because they're cowards. They're very traumatized, likely. And obviously, if you have control over everything, you're very safe. That makes you feel very safe. So you see that. Well, we'll get into it. Good night.